community, how's it going? It's been, I don't know, a week or two since I did a video. Can't keep up. I think it was a week ago. Sure, it looks like I stuck my finger in a light socket. Just no hair product yesterday or today. So going for a little different look here. Uh, it's all sorts of crazy curly, not something I've ever had before. So I don't know. It's like a mid to late life crisis going on here with my hair. But instead of sticking a cap on or a hat, just letting it do its thing. But on to music. I got to stop by a shop in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, which is about 40 minutes north of me, that I go to every once in a while. Just stopped in last weekend. Wanted to check out the 7 inches, and I got a few. Nothing crazy, but they've got a section of typically 80s 7 inches, and some of them are brand new, never used, maybe slightly beat up, and then some of the ones I got, I could tell they've been used before. But $5 typically. I think on up to like $10. So I got a few I'm going to share, and I got 2 full lengths, and then I got a package in from my friends over at Boone's Overstock.com, and I figured I would go ahead and open up and reveal the 3 records that I got from there. So this shouldn't be a terribly long video. Let's go ahead and start with the 7 inches. So I typically like to get 7 inches with picture sleeves, but I couldn't pass this one up. It is a promo, and it is just one of the company sleeves. So Warner Reprise, and the 7 inches actually on Warner Records. So I'm pretty certain that this is the here. Got this for $5. It is Alice Cooper. I Am the Future from Zipper Catches Skin, which was released in 1982. And even though, same track on both sides, but what's kind of cool is the side A is a remix. So it's 3 minutes and 36 seconds. The other side, actually, I guess that one is, no, it is the same. I thought one was in mono. I may be confusing this with one of the others, but no, it's the same track, but it is a remix. So I guess it might sound a little different than what is on the actual Zipper Catches Skin. So nice little find there for $5. Next up, let's stick with some hair metal. We got the Mr. Big Boys, and this is from their first release, Mr. Big. This is Addicted to That Rush, and this is one that was a little, I would say, slightly more used. There's definitely some ring wear there in the center. Take this one out of the sleeve, and a little bit of ring wear on the back. Little bend in the corners, but again, for $5. This is not one that I've seen. I've not come across this one before. And it's Atlantic Records. This one could use a little bit of cleaning, and I think there might be some light scratches on it, but I've got some 7 inches that look great, and they still have some grit in them and make some noise. So if it plays good, great. If not, again, it was only a $5 investment, so not going to lose any sleep. But always ready to add some Mr. Big to the collection. Next up, I've been getting a lot of Rolling Stone stuff recently, and they had a handful of Stones. Some of them were in lesser condition than others. This one seemed to be in halfway decent, and it was a slightly older single. Now, they didn't have anything, again, this was more 80s stuff, so they didn't have anything in there from the 60s or 70s. This one's 1980. So those of you that are Stones fans, what album? And if you said Emotional Rescue, you were correct. And so this is the Emotional Rescue 7-inch single with Emotional Rescue, and I believe the B-side is Down in the Hole. And this was released on Rolling Stones Records, yellow inner label. And nothing else special about that one other than just it's 1980. And again, this one I believe I've got poor lighting going on here, but I don't think there's any scratches on this one. Could be an unplayed, and the sleeve is in really good condition. Okay, got one more single, and this is from the ever fantastic Eric Clapton. Maybe not from one of his more popular time periods. We got the late 70s and early 80s where Eric was dealing with a lot of substance abuse, but still kicking out some good albums. And certainly any of his albums are going to have, a handful of fantastic songs. So this one is from the Another Ticket album, which I don't have. I think I've maybe got a burn copy on CD. So the A side is Another Ticket and Rita May on the B side. So I'm not super familiar with those songs, and I believe this is the 1980 on RSO Records, produced and engineered by Tom Dowd. So I don't think I've got any other Eric Clapton singles. I've got plenty of his vinyl albums and special releases and CDs. All right, so at The Great Escape in Murfreesboro, after I got done looking through the 7-inch singles, I decided, hey, let's check out some of the section with the new acquisitions, things that folks have sold to them recently. And there was a number of Hendrix, some of which I have on vinyl, and some of them were maybe official bootlegs. But this was one I know those of you into Hendrix, you're going to know this album, you're going to be familiar with it, but I've never heard it before. I've seen it. I know I've seen it shows up online all the time. This was, I believe, the first release of Hendrix's unfinished work right after. And I've just never heard it. Plenty of these songs have shown up on other releases that I have that came out later after his passing away. But I know that the mix on this is different than the later remixes that came out from his family. So yeah, I guess I should show it. The Cry of Love. And this is definitely a more recent pressing, 2014. And it is a gatefold. This one is a single record, but great condition. I mean, the gloss is all there. It's a little over 10 years old, maybe going on getting closer 15 years. But usually, if there's something wrong with the records, this shop will put a sticker and they will let you know. But this looks, other than the fact that it doesn't have the original plastic on it, it's in brand new condition. And the record, there's our See Me Twice there. But yeah, it's killer. I haven't listened to it yet, but there's not a mark on the record, so somebody was just thinning out their collection. And so for $20, another Hendrix in the collection. And this one I've got on CD, but I was like, oh man, I couldn't pass up. I love the silver. So it's got the Jimi Hendrix and then South Saturn Delta. And it's got that reflective, I don't know what you would call it, but the reflective material there. And this one's a double. So again, for $20, got Look Over Yonder. Really great song, a version of Little Wing Angel, Power of Soul, All Along the Watchtower, different version. Drifter's Escape, which was another Bob Dylan song, Midnight Lightning. So again, songs that, when this came out, some folks were like, hey, I've heard, half of those songs already, or better versions of them. But this is great. You know, it's not going to replace the first three Hendrix Experience albums, but you can't go wrong with the Hendrix Estates material that they put out. The live stuff is great too. So probably preaching to the choir there. All right, box from Boone's Overstock. Just need to do a little tear here on some of the tape and share out 3 more records, and then I can let you get back to whatever you were doing before clicking on the button to watch me. Okay, in last couple of months, I've been picking up, trying to get the last of the records from this Massachusetts band, I believe based out of Boston. The band Massachusetts, Mass. And this is New Birth. I've got a CD copy of this, and I know this was released in, I think, '85 originally. I don't have an OG copy of the record, but I don't know, a couple of months, maybe half a year ago, this was re-released on this Strawberry Jam vinyl. And I thought I waited a little bit. Price went down a little, and I was like, yeah, it's time to snag that. So I know in one of my recent videos, I shared one of their later records that I just recently picked up. So I think I've got just about everything. Actually, I do. Between the CD versions and some of the vinyls, I've got everything the band has put out now, at least in one version or the other. Let's check out this color, see how this Strawberry Jam, like a strawberry swirl, turned out. So without the glare there. Looks pretty cool. Yeah. It's kind of a, I guess a reddish pink with some darker red in there. And of course, we got the rocks. And of course, this is retroactive. So Scott Waters does a fantastic job with the labels, coming up with, some creative, because not only, he takes that logo, but then kind of works with the coloring of the vinyl or with the cover. And of course, you got that there from the album cover. And so if you don't know this band, if you listen to 80s, 90s hair metal, or you just like good hard rock, check this band out. I believe they're Catholic. There's some little aspects of some Christianity in there, but it's not throwing Bibles out at the crowd. So, some tracks, Too Far Gone, Back to Me, Do You Love Me, New Birth, Voyager, Look for the Edge, Watch Her Walk. So, it's just good rock tunes. Really looking forward to hearing this, because I know that it's going to sound so much better than that, even the repress CD that I have, just because of the remastering. All right, we've got 2 more here. This one, I'm kind of ashamed that I didn't already have this as a record in my collection, but I've had a CD version of it for many years now. One of my favorite Christian bands, Ray Parra, is the lead singer, and he's one of my favorite singers. He's up there with Ronnie James Dio, Bruce Dickinson, Jeff Tate. If you don't agree with that, you just haven't listened to him enough, or you haven't seen them in concert. But Ray and all the bands that he's involved in. But I didn't have a vinyl copy of Sacred Warrior's first album, Rebellion, and it's been repressed. And it was repressed, I think, on black vinyl just maybe 1, 2, 3 years ago, and I missed out on that. But it was recently just re-released. See Ray there in the center, the other guys, and I'm gonna open this one up too, because it is a colored. If it were black, I'd be like, y'all don't need to see just another black record. This one is colored, and plus we want to see the center labels. Yep, it is a translucent yellow, which I think works great, because we have that yellow Rebellion down on the bottom there, and translucent. And we've got our logo there. Again, you can see the difference. Scott's taken that and added, the two guys in the background from the band, from the cover. And then on the other side, we've got the guys with the band logo and the album. And Scott does a great job of putting that side A so you can read it, and side B so you can read it. And you don't have to go searching or looking for the inner, what it is. Sometimes they're stamped and sometimes they're etched in, and you can see an A or a B in there, and you have to have a microscope and a super bright light to be able to read it. So thankful to finally have that in the collection. And then we've got the insert. Looks like a write-up by Jonathan Swank from Heaven's Metal magazine. Dedications, all those involved in the band, and the remaster. And the other side, we've got the lyrics. Such a great band. Did I mention that? Did I mention that? Yeah, this is a band. Well, Mass also great band, but yeah, if you're into Queensryche, you need to check these guys out too. Such a great band. I've seen them twice in concert now, and I've seen Ray with his one of his other bands. So yeah, I can say he rocks. He's awesome. All right, now we're going to switch gears real quick. This is my last record to share. I'll open this one up too, because it is a colored vinyl. So kind of, I don't know. I can't say taking a chance. I know what these guys sound like. I don't have any other records or CDs by them. This is a death metal band, and I'm thinking, all I need to do is look at the hype sticker. It says German. They're a German death metal band. I guess probably, in the same vein as Cannibal Corpse, 6 Feet Under, Suffocation. And they've been around for a good while. This is actually their 8th studio album. So Brutal Planet Records, Boone's Overstock, they repressed this, and I believe the album that came before it. These two, well, I don't have the two, I'm going to show you just one, but these two represses were both originally released on Metal Blade Records. So, and it does say that on the back. So the band is Flesh Crawl, and I picked this one over the other one because I like the cover better. And yeah, I've never owned anything by this band. I do remember seeing some of their earlier albums promoted in some heavy metal and death metal magazines back in the day when they were on Black Mark Productions, same company that released Bathory. So yeah, just a little brief, well, let's go ahead and looking at this. It says on Structures of Death, which is the album, as you can see there on the bottom, they have really taken it to another level. And I listened to a few tracks from this and from the earlier ones, and yeah, definitely they upped their game. Looks like there's 7 tracks on side A and 5 tracks on side B. It's produced by Flesh Crawl, and this is a 2025 release, and it was originally put out in 2007. So looking at the hype sticker, you can see that is supposed to be a colored variant, just the one. So you don't get a choice on this one. And, oh wow, this is not the first variant I've had that was like this, but good timing. The sun's coming out. Look at that. That is a beautiful blue with some gold, maybe some dark blue and some gold kind of mixed in. That is really cool. And yeah, let's look at those inserts there. Scott Waters working on that again. That one is side A. And flip it over, and there we have side B. And yep, he does such a great job. All the guys do. Of course, this was probably a remix on this one. Most of the material that's put out by Rocks and put out by No Life Till Metal and Brutal Planet, and those are typically remastered by Rob Caldwell. So just having a quick look here. We're already we're at 20 minutes. Oh my. Yeah, Rob Caldwell, and the executive producer is Matthew B. Hunt, and then of course Scott does the layout, and John D does these copy editors. So checking to make sure there's no typos in there, and they do an awesome job. So please support Boone's Overstock and Girder and No Life Till Metal and Rocks Records. They put out awesome product. I've never had to return anything. I've never received anything damaged in the mail. Well, occasionally I may get something with a little corner dent, but sometimes I'm paying, I pay less for those, and I'm getting those knowing, what the defect is. So thank you for watching. I thought this was going to be short, but I didn't share a lot, but I've always have plenty to say. But if you're familiar with these bands, share away. Tell me what you think. If you are a Sacred Warrior fan, what's your favorite album? Hendrix, did you ever see him live? If you did, you're older than I am. And, what do you think of Mass? And I don't know, who's your favorite death metal band? Just, we'll make this slightly interactive. Leave some comments. If you don't mind, give a thumbs up. Share on your, on your Facebook or Twitter, whatever, or somebody in the metal who might, like to watch this stuff. Share away. Thanks for watching. God bless. Till next time. Peace.